Hello everybody, it's The Worm, and I'm back with VLR. And you might be noticing something. You might be noticing something on screen, something that might be in a different shape than what it was when I last left it. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Before getting into the episode, just a few things I want to mention. Good call by Lise, I think. The something I should have, well, I don't know about should have, but something I may have been able to pick up on is the facial recognition device that was in this room. It only worked for a female, apparently, and that leads to a perhaps an interesting thought. If this is the facility that was mentioned in Kay's backstory, we do know that one woman in particular who was here would have been the woman that arrived later, after Kay had the robot mother. Later, this other woman appeared, and I believe the thought process that I had, due to the shape of the model or outline of the model, was that was probably the old lady that we find dead. And so, if that's the old lady, and the old lady was living or working at this facility, then maybe this is her office or something like that. Now, that led me to another weird thought. This is like crackpot theory here. I think last time I said something like, well, maybe Tenmyoji is somehow old Junpei or something. I don't know how that would work, but that led to a somewhat disturbing realization where I kind of just followed the logic there. Well, maybe if that's the case, maybe the old woman is Akane? And I really hope that's not the case, because that would suck. that would definitely not feel good. But again, I don't know how to square that with, Clover still being Clover, and I mean, I know, well, maybe I can square it. I don't know why I didn't think of this at the time. We have those cryogenic things, so maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's the reason why some of them could be much older than they used to be. I hope that's not the case. I don't want Akane to just, have it be, oh, she's just been dead this whole time. That would just suck. Yeah, so that was the main thing I wanted to talk about from last time. I don't think there's anything else, really. So yeah, let's talk. Let's mention this. This took me. You know what? No. I'm not gonna tell you. It took me an amount of time. How about we say that? And I'm hoping. I actually haven't clicked check yet. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm crossing my fingers. Okay, let's do this together. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh. Thank goodness. Ilp. Our answer is Ilp. That must be for this. Help. Help. There we go. Okay. Yes, and I believe I was also told in the comments last time that this puzzle that I was doing here is apparently for this thing. Yeah, I had already, reason that, you know, these were letters, basically, so rather than needing to solve that puzzle, I just kind of messed with the books and eventually got to H, so simple enough, really. We never used this thing, whatever that is, the Roomba, and of course we didn't use this, but this might be saved for that other route. So let's do this thing. Okay. Ba-bam. Secret found. And then Sun Sun Star. Bada boom. We got there. The star cards. So this might be the first time we actually get to the... We're able to actually do the star round. The Ambidex game round. Let's go. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Still can't do anything here. You guys ready? Yeah. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Bam. So whatever other revelations lie in that room, we'll have to wait for another time, looks like. Okay. Just wanted to check if I was recording. Looks like I am.
No!
Yes. What are we saying no to?
Damn it!
What's wrong?
I left something in the director's office.
What, the picture?
What was it?
The picture.
Okay.
Ugh, how could I forget it?
Look, just go ahead and run back. I don't think that's a big deal. Go get it. Oh yeah, we must have set it down after using the face recognition thing.
Yeah, I'm going back. You two go on ahead to the warehouse.
I want to come with you.
Me too.
Nah, that's fine. Why don't you head back to the warehouse, Sigma?
That's maybe a bad idea. Maybe we should stick together.
The others are probably already waiting.
Alright, but I don't want you to just suddenly be dead in a little bit, okay? I'll see you two later then.
Right.
Bye, Mr. Sigma.
Oh, we're going. We're alone. Oh, okay. Let's watch our back. I watch them jog off toward the blue door. I guess we can let the others know what's going on. And then they were gone. Guess I should be getting back then. Warehouse A. I stepped into the warehouse to find all the other teams already there. Kay and Luna, Phi and Clover, and Dio. The moment Dio spotted me, he dashed over to the rightmost AB room and slid his card through the reader.
An ambidex gate has been opened.
Okay, he waited for at least one representative of all the groups, at least, but still kind of rude not to, you know, ask where the others are first.
45 minutes remain until ambidex game polling closes.
As he turned to look at me, I swore I saw a flash of a smug grin.
There. Happy? This time I waited for you to get back before I opened it. You see? I can be considerate.
But Tenmyoji and Quark aren't here.
Yeah, where are they?
I guess they forgot something back in the room we found. I ran back to grab it real quick. Don't say I guess. That leaves room for doubt.
And they'll be here in a few minutes. No big deal.
While we waited, we exchanged information about the rooms we'd investigated. Unfortunately, none of us seemed very useful. None of us had found anything, and we were no closer to unraveling any of the increasing number of mysteries we were faced with. With that discussion exhausted, we sat down to wait. Uh-oh. Before long, 20 minutes had passed since Dio opened the door, and Tenmyoji and Quark were nowhere to be... I was going to say to be seen, but nowhere in sight.
Don't you think they're taking a little long?
Yes. Yes, I do, Phi.
Yes, I'm getting worried. What if something happened to them?
I'll go have a look.
Then I shall accompany you.
Nah, I'll be fine by myself. It's not that far away.
Just don't look into the abyss too long, or you might become a monster.
Thanks for that, Clover. For that, bit of wisdom. I don't think... Okay. Look, I'm just gonna go to the director's office. I'll be right back. No big deal. Right, see you guys later. I gave a quick goodbye wave and stepped out to the warehouse. We should have all gone together. Did they skip the elevator scene there? Huh. Usually they show that. Don't be both dead in here, please. Please do not both be dead. Huh? That's odd. There's nobody here. The picture's gone, though. Tenmyoji and Quark must have been here then. I laid out the floor B map. Huh. They must have taken the door that faces the warehouse. After that, they probably went through the warehouse and out the blue door to the elevator. Yeah, that's a much shorter route. On the other hand, I came through the red door, which is kind of the long way around. Huh. Looks like we managed to miss each other perfectly. Well, this was a huge waste of time. Shoot. Might as well head back, I suppose. I packed up the map and was headed toward the door when... Huh? There was a light on where there hadn't been light before. What? Why is that thing on? We messed with it earlier, but nothing seemed to work. I felt a sudden wave of inexplicable, nauseating dread. The light stared at me. I swallowed hard. Just adding in words now. Sorry. I swallowed and edged cautiously toward it. The machine was in arm's reach now. I stretched my hand out toward it, slowly.
So,
You finally made it.
Okay. We got steampunk pirate looking guy. Although the jacket looks very similar to Dio's, just black instead of red. And he's got a thing on his wrist. And he only wears one glove on one hand. Okay, who are you? No, you're...
I am Zero.
Oh, get out of town. What?
I was the one who brought you here. You undoubtedly have as many questions for me as there are stars in the sky. As you can see, however, this is only a recording. I will therefore be unable to directly answer any questions. Ask if you wish, but I cannot respond.
Ugh. I considered taking a swing at him, but decided that was spectacularly futile, and kept my bald fist at my side.
Now, where to begin? There are many things I wish to tell you, but unfortunately, our time is limited. As such, the information I can provide is also limited. I have chosen two things of great importance to tell you. First, I will tell you about termites.
Okay.
In retrospect, I suppose that's a rather odd thing to say.
It struck me as odd, yes.
I imagine you look rather bewildered right now.
You hit the nail on the head there, bud.
Perfectly understandable.
Thank you.
The person who kidnapped you and threatened you with death is lecturing you about insects. I suspect it hardly seems fair. Nonetheless, this is very important. In a way, it will determine your fate. So I ask that you listen carefully.
Gotcha.
Have you ever seen a termite mound? They are splendid structures. Some might even call them works of art. Termites are natural architects, and their mounds are both structurally sound and make excellent use of space. So, are they following some sort of plan as they build? Are there termite blueprints, detailing which room goes where? No, of course not. Each termite is simply an oblivious cog in a tremendous machine programmed by millions of years of termite DNA. It is doubtful an individual termite has any idea what its contributions are helping to create. But a human does. We can appreciate the elegant forms of their alien cathedrals. We can see the simple beauty of their perfect functionality. We can understand the splendid planning of their structure. In other words, only an intelligence of a higher order can understand the beauty of what the termite builds. Now, consider humans. Why are we alive? Why do we love and give birth? Why do we create? From where do our cultures spring? There are many theories, but no one knows the truth. We are oblivious cogs in a tremendous machine programmed by millions of years of human DNA. No doubt you see now what this analogy is supposed to illustrate. Yes, I mean to say humans are not different from termites. We trudge through our lives with no greater understanding of our ultimate goal. You might say we don't understand what we're building. Only an intelligence of a higher order than ours can understand what we're doing. Imagine how we might look to such an intelligence. We may be building some structure so perfect and elegant, we can't even perceive it. Whatever it is, we've likely been building it on a dimension just above the ones we know since time immemorial. If we are like the termites, then what we've created is almost certainly something of tremendous beauty. And you are about to catch a glimpse of it, or have you already? Well, that's enough on that subject, I think. Consider what I've said. Now, let's move on to the second topic. It is somewhat more immediately meaningful to your life, and, in fact, the lives of several billion other people. I realize this is rather sudden, but I have a password for you. It is the password to disarm the bomb, numbered 1.
Bomb?
Are you ready? I will only say this once, so pay close attention. The password to disarm the number 1 bomb is BQZ RGJ DXR.
Oops. Sorry. That was, if you heard a noise there, that was my computer there. There we go. I'll write it down later. Okay. I had no idea what he was talking about. What bomb? Was he saying there were bombs, too? If he'd guessed at my future confusion, he showed no sign of it.
That is the last of the information this message was meant to convey. Before I go, however, I have a warning. You cannot tell any of your companions what you heard or saw here. If you do, you will be penalized immediately. I hope we will meet again someday. We would have much to discuss.
Wait. God damn it, you can't just spout all that crap and disappear. Found myself yelling at empty air. The hologram had disappeared. What kind of an idiot does he take me for? Termites? Other dimensions? How could that have anything to do with kidnapping us? Shit. I kicked at a nearby shelf.
10 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes. All players, please enter your votes. If no vote is recorded before the deadline has passed, any non-voting parties will automatically ally.
So wait, do we assume that Tenmyoji and Quark saw that or no? Because even if we see them, the recording said not to tell anyone. Aw, crap. I need to go back. Not like there's any point in staying here. I spun around and ran out of the room toward the warehouse. Yeah, I was gonna say, go the other way.
Grandpa! Look! Mr. Sigma's back!
Took you long enough.
Whew. Where are the others?
In the AB rooms.
They went in already?
Yep.
Why didn't you two? Have you been waiting for me?
Yeah! Grandpa said there was something he had to tell you before we voted, no matter what.
Nothing that significant. Just wanted to tell you we're going to choose ally this round. That's it.
And you had to tell me no matter what? Seems kind of pointless. I mean, words are cheap. You can promise whatever you want.
True, but we've got something to back it up. Just hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
Quark and I both have 8 BP. We're already on the home stretch. So what do we need to get to the magic number? Well, we need you to choose ally. If you do that, it doesn't really matter to us what we pick.
You get to 9 whether you got 2 or 3 points.
Exactly. That being the case, we don't have any reason to betray you. And if we both choose ally, we both gain points.
True, but you must have considered that I'll choose betray. That would mean you'd choose betray to protect yourselves.
But that's why we're telling you we won't choose betray.
Mm-hmm.
Can I trust you?
Of course.
Alright. Tell me one thing. Let's say we do this and we both ally. Everybody gets 2 points. That means you and Quark will have enough to leave. Which is great for you. But I'll be stuck with a measly 5. How do I know you aren't going to just open up the number 9 door and leave us in the lurch?
I can guarantee it.
How?
I can give you my word. I will not open the number 9 door, even if I have enough points to do so. I swear it. We aren't going to abandon everybody else just so we can escape.
I swear too. I promise.
Man. So all you've got is a promise, huh?
When I make a promise, I keep it. Trust me.
Please! You've got to trust us!
Alright, fine. I'll trust you.
2 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
We're counting on you, Sigma.
You gotta choose Ally! You promised!
I get the feeling they're taking me for a ride here, but okay. With that, they turned and ran into the AB room second from the right. Well, guess I should get moving.
One minute remains until Ambidex game polling closes.
I had a decision to make. Should I trust Quark and Tenmyoji? Well, I could believe they were telling the truth and still betray them. That would bring my BP to 6. I'd be that much closer to 9. And choosing betray would guarantee that they wouldn't try and escape without the rest of us. Betrayal seemed like the safe bet. But...
Please! You've gotta trust us! You've gotta choose Ally! You promised!
Are we still going with the old Quark is actually evil theory? Or are we not thinking of that anymore? Tenmyoji I could betray easily enough, but Quark? What the hell was I gonna do?
10 seconds remain until Ambidex game polling closes. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Take me for a ride.
Round 3 of the Ambidex game has been completed. Results will be displayed in the warehouse. Thank you for your participation. Ambidex gates now opening. Results from round 3 of the Ambidex game will now be displayed. Please direct your attention to the results screen.
Yep. Take me for a ride. Yeah, real nice Tenmyoji. Yep. Luna and Clover are... and Kay, that's surprising. Although I guess it... the surprising part to me about that is Kay. Why would he pick Ally? What reason for well, cause Luna, right? I guess that would be why. Kay will take every opportunity to escape when he can, but he doesn't want to directly kill anyone, I think. Yeah, I was getting that sense. I mean, Tenmyoji in the past, if we go to the earlier... Wow, we went through a lot. On the one, I can't remember which one it was now, but the one where we got betrayed by him, you know, I think he said a similar thing. It wasn't as intense as it just was, but yeah.
Points have been assigned or subtracted accordingly.
And it's going to be like, well, but you promised, you gave me your word, and you said you never break your word. And he's going to be like, sorry, man, I just had to do it.
Please check your bracelet to see your updated bracelet points.
Well, we're going to have 3 people leave now. Hey, what the hell, guys? Why'd you betray me?
Quark had nothing to do with this. I made the vote.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Grandpa.
All right, fine. Why'd you break your promise, Tenmyoji?
I only promised you one thing. We wouldn't open the number 9 door, even if we got 9 points.
What? So you're not gonna leave?
Not what I said. Of course we're going to leave. Look.
What?
See Clover over there?
What? Don't tell me.
Oh no.
Jeez.
That bitch!
Wait. Quark and Tenmyoji have...
The words were barely out of her mouth when Tenmyoji and Quark ran past.
No! God damn it!
Clover, are you really going to leave?
Well, yeah. Why else would I open the door?
But why?
I'm going to go call the others so we can capture Zero Senior.
Tenmyoji, are you and Quark going too?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry, everybody.
So Sigma, happy? Kept my promise. Clover opened the door, not me.
Like hell I'm happy. That's some shady shit, Tenmyoji.
You say so. I have to get out of here, and that's that. He's got to pay for what he's done.
He?
Zero.
You mean you know who Zero Senior is?
Yeah. No point keeping it a secret now, I suppose. I know exactly who Zero Senior is.
What?
Now are you saying you know Zero Senior, the one who's we have been supposing is among us this whole time, or you mean the guy in the office we just saw?
The number 9 door has been opened. It will remain open for 9 seconds.
Let's go. Come on, guys. Time to move.
Right.
Oh, wait! This is for you, Mr. Sigma.
Quark held something out. I looked down at two pieces of folded paper. What is this?
It's a letter. I wrote it in the director's office before the AB game. I wanted to tell you what kind of guy Grandpa is.
Okay. It's a weird way to do it, but alright.
So, read it, okay?
He pressed it into my hand.
See you later, Mr. Sigma.
Will you, though? I mean, in another timeline, sure, but I mean this timeline. Then he turned and ran toward the door, Tenmyoji and Clover following in his footsteps. I was so surprised by the letter that I didn't even try to stop them. Before I could think of anything to say...
See you.
Goodbye.
The number 9 door has closed.
Think there's going to be an ending where we all get out?
This ends the nonary game. Thank you for your participation. As the game is over, all doors other than the number 9 door have been unlocked. Escape is not possible. Please enjoy your stay.
Shit! They're gone.
All we can do now is hope they bring help back.
Indeed.
I agree.
I looked down at Quark's letter and slowly unfolded it. His handwriting was still slightly uneven, but he filled out both pages with writing. I began to read. It was a really stormy day when he found me. He said the rain was coming down so hard it almost hurt, but somehow he managed to hear a baby crying. I guess I must have been crying pretty loud. He took me home and did his best to raise me, but he'd never been married or had a kid before, so I think it was really hard for him. He couldn't figure out how to mix the formula, so he was always carrying the directions around with him. Also, I guess I was a pretty picky eater, so if he didn't get the water to formula ratio just right, I wouldn't eat it. I guess I was kind of a pain, huh? But he didn't give up, and now here I am. When he found me, I was really, really small. He was worried that I might not make it. That's why he named me Quark. A quark is a really, really small thing, and I was really, really small too. Grandpa didn't need to worry though, because it turned out I was pretty tough. When I was 1, he forgot I was sleeping in the bed of his truck and drove off. I rolled out and went off the back, but I didn't even get a scratch. I started walking when I was 2, and when he wasn't looking, I fell down the stairs. I didn't get hurt then either. When I was 3, I got really sick. I had a super high fever for a week, but eventually I got better. I guess you could say I'm pretty lucky. Anyway, I didn't really have any more accidents after that, and I was a pretty healthy kid. By the time I was 6, I started helping Grandpa out with his work. His job was to gather junk from abandoned buildings. Then he'd fix it up or pull out the useful parts to sell them. There were plenty of abandoned buildings, but finding good stuff in them was hard. You had to know which parts were useful, or you could end up wasting a bunch of time. Every time I'd find something, he'd explain to me what it was, how it was supposed to work, how to fix it, all sorts of things. Usually, though, I just wanted to finish up work so I could go to the theater. The theater came to our town. Wait, no, never mind. The theater came to our town once a week in a wagon. They'd show off old news or movies. I went to every single week, but Grandpa only went once in a while, and he'd only go weeks when they showed movies. Oh yeah, I didn't know that I'd been adopted until I was 7. One of the other kids on my block told me. I guess after Grandpa found me, he looked all over town to try and find somebody who'd take me. The kid from my block actually had a mom, and he'd asked her if she would take me too. I gotta admit, I was pretty shocked when I heard that. There weren't a lot of kids with parents around, so hearing that someone lived with his actual mom was pretty impressive. I was also kind of surprised that Grandpa tried to get someone else to take care of me. Did that mean he didn't want me? The kid who told me about Grandpa trying to get rid of me was a real jerk. He was totally spoiled, and he'd brag to everyone about how he had a mom. He liked to come up to me while I was working and say stuff like, "Must be hard not having a mom." It never really bothered me before, but after I found out that Grandpa had adopted me, I started to think that maybe he didn't really want me. If I could work on my own, then he could get rid of me. I was scared to know the truth, so I never asked him. Then one day he took me to a bar in our neighborhood. During the day, of course. He went there sometimes to drink scotch, but I'd never gone before. When we got in, he just walked up to the counter with that grumpy look he has, and I thought, oh no, he's going to make me work here. But I was wrong. I saw him pass something to the bartender, and then he picked me up and set me down on a stool next to the counter. The stool was pretty high, especially for a 7-year-old kid, and my legs just dangled off of it. It seemed really, really high to me, so I was pretty nervous. Eventually the bartender came back with a glass of scotch and another big glass of something else. As I looked closer, I realized that the second glass was full of some kind of brown liquid with a scoop of ice cream in it. It took me a minute to realize what it was. A root beer float. I'd never seen one before. I was so surprised. Root beer was even more expensive than the nicest alcohol in the bar. To me and the other kids, it seemed like an urban legend than a real drink. But there it was, right in front of me. I stared at the floor. I still wasn't sure it was real at that point, and then turned to look at Grandpa. He looked back at me. I didn't know what to do, so I turned to the bartender. He'd already turned around and moved off, though, so I figured he must have put the glass down in front of me on purpose. It still didn't seem like it could be real, and I was just staring at it when Grandpa told me to hurry up and drink it before the ice cream melted. His gruff voice sounded like an angel's. Is this really mine? He nodded. Words can't describe how awesome it was. I'd never tasted anything like root beer before. The creamy sweetness of the ice cream made my entire head feel light. I felt like the luckiest boy in the whole world. That's not an exaggeration. I really thought that. The root beer float was delicious, but what made me even happier was Grandpa. When I looked over at him, he was smiling. I know that's gotta be hard for you to imagine, but he really was. Right then, I didn't care whether he'd just found me or adopted me or not. He'd brought me a root beer float. That made me feel way luckier than some kid who had a mother but had never tasted root beer. Of course, after we left the bar, he was the first kid I bragged to. So, Grandpa and I were doing pretty good. Until the fight. I was in a super bad mood that day. I'd torn one of my shoes that morning, and some old drunk guy had yelled at me. All the junk I found was totally useless. The day was almost over and I was fed up, so I just grabbed some random trash and took it back to the house. When I showed what I'd found to Grandpa, he frowned. He started going through each thing I'd brought back, explaining why they were all useless. I got really mad and just yelled, "I don't care." Then he got mad, and I couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. I was pretty upset, and I started thinking that maybe Grandpa had only adopted me so he could raise me to work and make money for him. After a while, I went and hid in an abandoned building, but by then I started to calm down and think that maybe I should go back and apologize. It had started raining pretty hard, though. It had started raining pretty hard, though, so I decided I should wait for it to stop. But that was just an excuse. The truth was that I was nervous. Part of me knew I'd done something wrong, but I didn't want to admit it. The rain didn't stop, though, so I just sat there, staring out at the gloomy gray sky. I imagined Grandpa coming to get me. It kept raining all night, and he never showed up. I gave up waiting and decided it was to go home. Time to go home. I was about halfway there when I heard somebody groaning. At first, I thought I should just ignore it and not get involved, but when I went over anyway, it was Grandpa. He was totally soaked, and I could tell right away that he'd been there for a really long time. I yelled and he opened his eyes a little bit. He smiled weakly and said he was glad that I was safe. He'd spent all night out in the rain looking for me. I felt awful. Grandpa had been out in the rain looking for me so long that he'd collapsed. Life was horrible. He'd heard me crying in the rain, but I hadn't heard him. As I ran to get the doctor, I promised whatever God might be listening that if they would only save Grandpa, I'd never ask for another root beer float ever again. Alright. He got a real bad fever and his temperature wouldn't go down for days. The doctor said that if it kept up, he'd die. If he died, then I'd be all alone. There wouldn't be anybody left to care about me. The thought of that happening terrified me. Fortunately, I must have passed some of my luck on to Grandpa, because a week later his fever finally broke. I was glad he wasn't going to die, but I was also a little scared. What if he decided he didn't want a stupid kid like me around anymore? My plan was to apologize as soon as he woke up, but when the moment came, my brain just stopped. Grandpa was started to talk, and it took me a minute to realize he was apologizing. I didn't know what to think. He explained that he was an old man, and that he meant he was probably going to die sooner rather than later. He was strict with me because he wanted to make sure I'd be able to make it on my own after he was gone. But maybe he'd been a little too strict. Also, it looks like they're in the infirmary in this facility, but I'm going to assume that probably wasn't the case. All of the things I'd worry about had been stupid and selfish. Grandpa cared about me a whole lot. He'd been worried when I ran off, and he'd gone out into the rain to look for me. I tried to apologize, but when I opened my mouth, I just started crying. I don't think I've cried that much since I was a baby. But he just smiled and patted my head. I asked him if he'd ever regretted adopting me. His eyes got all wide and he said, "Of course not." He told me that because he was looking for a really important lady, and because of that, he'd given up his life on... He told me that he was looking for a really important lady, and because of that, he'd had to give up on pretty much everything else in his life. But when he took me in and started raising me, he felt like he'd gotten some of what he'd lost back. That was when I decided I'd stay with him forever, even if he said I couldn't. Okay. What was that, the Quark ending? I guess it was. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say I don't think that was 2 pieces of paper. 2 sheets of paper. That was more than 2 sheets of paper there, Sigma. Yeah. So, I do believe Tenmyoji mentioned he was a scavenger before, so I guess that checks out with what Quark just said. That is not what I expected, really. No, it's the Tenmyoji end. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, we're gonna call it there, I think. So, gotta think about what Quark wrote at the end there, and then we gotta think about what Zero said. The supposedly self-proclaimed Zero Senior, and about maybe what his design can tell us. Okay, I've been The Worm, this has been VLR, hope you're all doing alright, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.